Oh, deployments. It is the thing we all dread, but is an inevitable part of military life. Marriages are hard enough without 6-month, 9-month, or even 12-month gaps where we cannot see our partner and our communication is super limited. In this training, I want to talk about how you can feel really secure in your marriage during deployments. So hi, my name is Dr. Lindsay Cavanagh. I have my PhD in psychology, and I worked as a clinical psychologist for the military for several years. I am also the founder of Married to Military, a podcast and military marriage coaching specifically created to assist military spouses in navigating through military life and having the marriage that lights them up. I am also a fellow military spouse. My husband has been in the Navy for 16 years, and we have done 5 deployments together with 3 more in the hopper, so I've been there. Overall, in working with military couples for over a decade, I have found 3 factors that really create a solid marriage structure and make us feel secure: our connection, our communication, and our conflict resolution. I'm going to talk about how we can cover all of these while our partners are deployed so that we can maintain that healthy marriage foundation. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up your marriage for success before your partner ever walks out the door, how to manage conflict in a way that feels productive and healthy even when they're gone, how to connect with your spouse when they are away, and my number 1 tip to make everything easier during a deployment. All right, you ready? Let's do this. The best way to feel secure in your marriage during a deployment actually starts before our partners ever leave home. There are some really simple but effective things that you can do ahead of time that will make the deployment run so much smoother for the both of you. First, identify how you would like your love language to be met while your partner is gone, and how you can meet your partner's love language while they are away. So according to Dr. Gary Chapman, a psychologist and marriage counselor, we give and receive love in 5 different ways: quality time, acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, and physical touch. These can really be challenged when our partners are deployed, which can lead us to not feeling loved, not feeling secure, feeling more alone, and all of that can lead to resentment, and none of that feels good. One way to sidestep this potential difficulty is to identify what you might need before they go and have a plan in place. So for example, my love language is quality time. Obviously, this takes a big hit during a deployment, but knowing this, we set up a plan to make sure it's covered as much as possible. We schedule as much quality time before he leaves, and we schedule moments of quality time when he returns, so I have it to look forward to while he's gone. Also, my husband will attempt to send like a really good detailed email like every once in a while. One that's several paragraphs long and lets me feel like I'm communicating with him and spending time with him. I also like the email because then I can read it whenever I need quality time versus waiting around for the phone call. My husband's love language is physical touch, which is another love language that really takes a hit. So for him, I send as many care packages as I can to give him something to hold. Things like pictures of us back home that, again, he can hold when he needs to. We also got him a weighted blanket, which can be incredibly helpful for somebody with this love language. All of the love languages have little workarounds. So if your primary love language is acts of service, It might be beneficial if your partner were to set up a service while they're gone. Things like having someone come clean once a month, or arrange a babysitter once in a while, or a food delivery service. If your partner's love language is acts of service, when you do communicate, let them know all the things you are doing to keep the house functioning for them. Not because you have to, but because it's an act of love for them. If your love language is gift giving, send those thoughtful little care packages throughout the deployment. Have your partner send packages in return, or set up a subscription box that comes to you each month while they're gone. If your love language is words of affirmation, put cards in your partner's suitcase before they go, or have them leave some for you, and make sure you're really saying it every time you communicate. Being aware of what your love language is, how it will take a hit during the deployment, and how you're going to work around it together is such a game changer. You will feel more confident and more prepared for when they're actually gone. Also, don't assume your partner will figure out what you need on their own without you talking about it. If their love language is different from yours, they really may have no clue. And it's not that they don't care or they want to show you love, it's just different. So talk about it. Also, don't know what your love language is? Dr. Chapman has a free quiz on his website at 5lovelanguages.com. Check it out. All right, number 2. Another important thing to set up before your partner leaves that will help you feel more secure is come up with a logistical plan together. So what does this mean? It means figuring out what each of you need from each other during the deployment and talking about how feasible it may be and how to get around it. So, for example, I do much better on the deployment if I regularly hear from my husband. We talk about this before he leaves. Like, he always deploys on an aircraft carrier, so communication is only email, and even then it's choppy at best. But because he knows that this is important to me, he will do his best to send an email at least once a day, even if it's only a few words. For him, he likes to get as much information from home as possible. So even if I'm not hearing from him, he wants me to send as many emails that I can with as much detail as possible. I don't know if I would have known to do this if we hadn't discussed it ahead of time. It also means that even when I'm mad at him or I don't feel like emailing, I send it anyway because he has told me how important it is to him. So, the first step in this is to identify what you think you would want or what would be helpful while your partner is gone. Even if you know it can't happen or you feel it's ridiculous, identify what that is. Now, talk with your partner about it. Together, you all can find creative ways to meet your needs, and you're doing something really good for the foundation of your relationship. Research says that we rarely know what our partner needs, and so we need to be communicating it openly and often being as specific as we can. So with this conversation, my husband and I also discuss how we will handle things when they can't happen the way we want. Like what we'll do when they turn off email and he can't send them. Or like the time when I was traveling and I got locked out of my email and I couldn't send him emails. So if I don't hear from him, we come up with a plan about what I need and who I can talk to about it. So maybe this means reaching out to another military spouse. Maybe it means reaching out to the ombudsman and asking what the situation is if after a few days or a week. For him, it may be emailing someone else who's close to me, like a good friend, to see what's going on. So really working on this plan B as best we can. And I recommend doing this as well. I find that my clients that do this ahead of time go into deployment feeling much more prepared with this plan. Even if it doesn't always run smoothly, there still is a plan in place, and this really helps our brain to be okay and to be secure. Another topic I talk with my clients about a lot is how to manage our conflict or communication difficulties when our partners are deployed. I actually have a whole podcast episode on this that you might want to check out. But overall, there are ways that you can still work through relationship conflict during a deployment in a way that is productive and healthy and moves the relationship forward. So one, I recommend doing as much work on your own. Things like seeing things from different sides. What triggered the conflict? How is it impacting you? And in what ways you would want it corrected? Do not underestimate how much you can accomplish on your own by working through this. Second, figure out your desired response. What are you hoping to get from having the discussion? Venting, an actual solution? Next, discuss with your partner well before they leave about the best way to discuss things that come up during the deployment. And lastly, remember that your emotions are valid even if you can't communicate them in that moment or even for months. Next, I want to discuss a few ways that you can connect with your partner while they are deployed. Things like write them little notes throughout the day. Things that you would want to tell your partner if they were home. It will make you feel like you are having a conversation even if they can't respond. Another, look over old photos of you all together and imagine exciting adventures that may await you post-deployment, things that you can do together. Another, make a gratitude list about what you are thankful for about your partner, and do this extra on harder days during the deployment. Lastly, I find that little affirmations that we can say to ourselves, things that really feel good about our partner and about our relationship, can do wonders for the connection that we feel with them. So this can be things like, my partner cares about me even when they're gone. My partner works hard for our family. Whatever you can say that feels good, even if it doesn't always feel true in the moment. All of these things will help you to feel more connected even when they are hundreds or thousands of miles away. And lastly, my number one tip to getting through deployment is give yourself grace. Deployments are hard. There are going to be days that go really well, and other days where you feel like you're going to get hit by a truck or you have been hit by a truck. One day your plan will work and another day it won't. One day you feel really confident and like you've got this, and the next it feels really hopeless. All of this is normal and all of this is okay. Give yourself permission to do and feel it all. And be wherever you are at each day, and give yourself grace when things don't look the way you want them to or feel the way you want them to. It's hard and it's okay. So give yourself that break. I really hope that these tips help you to have the most secure relationship you can during a deployment period. If you have any questions at all, or if anything comes up for you, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. You can find me on Instagram at Married to Military, send me a DM, or sign up for one of my free calls. I truly, truly believe that everyone can have the marriage that lights them up. So if you aren't feeling this, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to speak with you more. And with that, happy deployment, everyone. Stay strong. and we'll talk to you soon.